They call it patriotism, but we call it what it is: pure, unfiltered bullshit. Welcome to Bluebird on Your Shoulder, where we cut through the MAGA madness with brutal honesty and zero apologies. No sugarcoating, no fake civility, just three guys, middle-aged and pissed off, breaking down the absurdity of right-wing delusion one episode at a time. If you think America deserves better than conspiracy theories and cult worship, you're in the right place. Liberal? Hell yes. Woke? Not a chance. We're here to roast the madness, expose the lies, and call out the grift. Because the only thing worse than MAGA's nonsense is pretending it makes sense. New episodes every week. Buckle up.
Boom, we're back. It's Bluebird on your shoulder, just the three of us. So, but it's another special guest episode, and the guest this week seems to be COVID.
Uh,
So that's going to be our fourth guest. We got some sick ones over there. That's why they're not together. They fully deny giving it to each other through emotional support kissing, but I don't know. We'll find out. So we're back. We have another fun-filled week of I don't know, it's comic strip at this point, or a satire, or a parody, or it can't be real, or I'm gonna wake up from this one day.
yeah.
But another rapid fire week. I think we've definitely been able to draw the conclusion that we're doing this so that we can beat the judicial curve. That's what we're trying to do. We're going so unbelievably fast so we can try to beat the judicial curve. That judicial curve is not it's not relenting. It's block after block after block after block after block after more information requested over more information requested. So these two shared an article about the DOJ inability to keep up with the madness of the challenges coming from the right and the left. I've seen quite a lot out of Mark Elias, who is definitely one of the targeted defense lawyers, probably, arguably in the circles that I've read, the most feared political lawyer in the country. He works for the Democrats, and he's never lost an election challenge. So that's what he's known for,
Yeah.
either challenging or defending election challenges, and he's never lost that. His law firm was served notice that they needed to cease and desist politically attacking the administration through the judicial system. And he released a very eloquently professional worded "fuck you."
Yeah,
I ain't doing shit.
and and unfortunately there's a couple other law firms that are capitulating just so that they can keep their security clearance so that they'll be able to do their jobs, you know? And it's just crazy that those types of attacks are going on and we're not seeing an uproar from every aspect of government, telling the administration they can't do this. But like you said, we're lucky that the judicial system has been putting a stop to most of these executive orders. There's very few that have gone unchallenged, and there's only I think I can name like five that have actually been like executed that had teeth. So, Doge unfortunately is one of the big ones.
Yeah, it does. It does seem to have some teeth. There's definitely been some limitations put on it, though. And quickly in there, they're starting the quiet release talk that when Elon's done with his work, he will be returning to the public sector or the
Oh
private
yeah,
sector and leaving the
actually
public
Tesla
sector.
asked him to step down today.
Oh, really? I did
Yep.
not see that.
Yep. You can't, dude, they're getting, I mean, now, granted, last couple of days, I don't think it's Tesla per se taking a beating. It's the market as an absolute whole taking a beating.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know today was the largest 1 day loss in quite some time.
12 years,
What
I think is what they said.
Yeah,
what
that
did
sounds
it
about
what
right.
did it what did the loss end up being? Because last I saw was almost 1,300.
In the Dow,
Yeah, the S&P or something like that.
well, the S&P or the Dow, those are two very different things. The
Very.
S&P lost uh 2,700 today.
Okay.
So yeah, the
That's
S&P lost
So it's
2,700.
yeah, I think it was the S&P that I saw. So it more than doubled then from the last time I
Oh,
saw it.
sorry, my bad, not 2,700, 274. That's my
yeah.
bad. My
Oh, so it
5%.
rebounded some.
5%. No, 5%. I lost 5%. That's huge. I did my numbers
Yeah.
wrong. I tracked the S&P ETF.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's one decimal point different, and I added two
Yeah.
decimal points because I
Because your
had a
math
long day
wasn't mathing.
yesterday. Well, no, because I did dumb shit,
Yeah.
and that's typically why math doesn't math. It's typically user error. Unless I'm never going to be doing no advanced math
No, it's
where
always
it,
user
yeah,
error.
where it could be the math's fault. So no, but the Dow was down 1,680,
Yeah.
4%. So that's the industrials being down, the new top 500 stocks being down. Um,
Overseas took a hit today, real bad too.
well,
So
everyone's going to take a hit, right?
yeah.
Like it's not healthy, right? I don't want to miss out on the other bulk of the articles. Like, what did you? I know you read the article in depth down there. I only skimmed it. So, what did you take away from the article about the DOJ's exhaustion?
So basically, without having a all of his appointments done, they're scrambling hard to try to put together these cases, which is another reason why the judges are just basically, throwing any of their appeals out because they're not putting together any real cases to prove why they want to do the things that they want to do. So and the problem is that a lot of these have to do with people's jobs. And so a lot of these people are just really nervous about, do I have a job? Do I not have a job? Is it going to change next week? So there's a lot of uncertainty. And I've already seen, I think consumer confidence has dropped like 15 points already. Um, and people are already spending so much less that this retraction that we're seeing in the market is just going to get even worse.
Yeah.
But
So Goldman Sachs actually kind of predicted this because they were pretty confident when he got elected that we would be in a recession before the middle of the year.
mhm,
Um, in a way, you could kind of say we were already headed in that direction, mainly because the consumer numbers from the holidays was not that great, but you can chalk that up to the inflation. You can chalk
yeah.
that up to people hold money back because of the uncertainty of the election. But I mean, numbers are numbers, and we knew this was going to happen. I just don't think that we knew it was going to happen within 75 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
This
know,
is
and
this is even fast for him. Yeah.
and it's there's well 75 days now, and he spent 14 of them on vacation and spent 34 million taxpayer dollars at golf clubs. Hey Doge, found your waste. Um, but anyway, this article that you sent, um, it's they talk about how there's one wing that basically defends the federal government, and even fully staffed, uh, a former a lawyer there said that it is far from fully staffed. It's about a third short of what it should be,
Yeah.
from various resignations, or they didn't do what he wanted to, so they got fired.
Yep.
But even fully staffed 130 lawsuits this fast, they would be doing everything they could just to keep their head above water.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these quotes and everything in here from interviews that guys from university law schools, like South Texas and Houston, and where was the other one from? Penn
I
or
don't know.
something like that.
You, Penn?
Yeah, maybe.
Ivy
They
League,
were they were
very
talking about the
low unknown
birthright
Ivy League.
citizenship in the 14th Amendment and how like they just don't understand how he thinks he can push that through.
Because
You
somebody
know,
told
like
him he could.
it's well,
Yeah.
yeah, like the incompetency, just like from these interviews of they're interviewing staff members of like what the thought process is, and it's like fifth grade education. Like,
I
so
mean,
to me, reading through the article and hearing some of these quotes from these interviews is like his whole goal is he's got people around him telling him, you pack the courts to where they're so busy they can't pay attention to you,
Yeah.
and then you get this fear mongering going on to where they're constantly looking over their shoulders if they don't, you know, sign their name right with the correct pen, that they're going to be out of a job, and to where they're not able to do their jobs, and then he can go without any oversight and do whatever he wants.
he'll never be able to do whatever he wants. I mean, he'll try,
Yeah,
and
but
maybe
that's what
he'll
I'm saying
say,
though, that's his
maybe he'll
goal.
say, "Fuck the courts," and do it anyway.
Yes.
And oddly enough, more or less, minus that one where we don't have enough information yet, he hasn't done that.
Actually,
Yeah.
actually, one of the um, one of the judges today, I think, uh, said that the administration acted in bad faith, trying to scramble those immigrants back down to what was it,
El
Argentina?
Salvador, El
Yeah, yeah.
Salvador.
Yeah.
So he said that they tried to act so quickly that the court couldn't react, and therefore he was holding them in contempt. So
That's fair enough. I mean, he got hold in contempt, and but you're not playing
yeah,
the game. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? But I would not be shocked by a brazen "fuck you, I don't care what you said." And
So
for
so one
whatever
thing
reason, the
that
administration has not taken that stance yet. The the followers are quite mad about it because now all of a sudden the judges don't matter.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
what is any judge able to override the president of the United States? Yeah, that's kind of their
yeah.
fucking
That
job.
is their job. Yes.
Right.
Well, that's why the
That's why we have
Congress.
the system we have.
Yeah, it's called the
Yeah. Oh,
Constitution. It
right.
kind of
But
outlined the reason for that.
right. Well, that's the big thing, right? Like we're talking about all these executive orders are getting challenged and blocked, and the people there, well, look, they only did it so many times to this president and this president, and they've done it like hundreds of times to Trump because the other presidents don't try to do illegal shit.
Right.
They
Right.
don't try to do unconstitutional things, and if they do, they get blocked. Biden got blocked on student loans two different
Yep.
ways.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Because technically, what you're trying to do isn't constitutional. And okay, cool. That's I don't need them to do it, but if they do it, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool that's gone. But
Yeah.
I'm sure for a lot of people out there, they do need to do it. Especially now, it's interesting the paradox that's created um, by all of this. So they need it because the job market doesn't have enough saturation in the high end jobs that these high end degrees that cost quite a bit of money to achieve are functional for, right?
Yeah.
And now we've decided to levy tariffs pretty much across the board. We're levying tariffs on people where are islands where it's just penguins. We're not really sure
Penguins.
what we import from there. Like the penguins don't make anything. So like, are we importing the penguin themselves? Are they selling themselves to some kind of penguin slave trade? Like, what is happening here?
You have to talk
But
to the prime minister.
well, yeah, they're prime quacker, dude. So at the end of the day, though, like, so we've levied all these tariffs, and now we're gonna say that we're just evening the playing field, right? They use the word reciprocal. And now we have MAGAs running around on social media saying reciprocal, and they have no idea what the word fucking means in the first place. But they're just saying it.
Our
Most
word
of
of
them
the
don't.
day. That's
most
so
don't spell it
elementary. It's their new
correctly.
word of
Like,
the
well,
day.
most of them don't spell it correctly. They spell it like
Of course not.
recipe poll
Oh my
and
god.
things of this, the things of this nature, like 350 for 20 minutes in the oven. So they lay it out there, but they're going on and on. They're just reciprocal. And then so you look at the tariffs themselves, and like I'm not going to go on the average line. Like everyone's put up the charts, and he brought the charts out, and it's on the charts, and there's charts. So, but he's saying the EU, like I know the EU's like a 32% tariff, but the EU doesn't charge us 32% tariff on anything.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of people on Twitter, which I don't know if this is verified, like officially, it probably won't ever be because Caroline, KKK Caroline, is a lunatic in the press office. She's definitely not CJ Craig. So it's she'll never admit to it. So these couple of mathematicians said what he did was he took the total trade deficit
Mhm.
between the two countries divided by the total trade,
Yeah.
and the percentage of difference is what he called the tariff. That
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is reciprocal, so that
Yeah.
you. How in the fuck did you? First off, doing what you're doing is ignorant, but you fucked up tariffs. But you don't have anybody in your administration that knows how to find out what the tariffs are.
They
Because
don't do that kind of homework.
if you're truly doing reciprocal
Right.
tariffing, that would be you charge me 10, I charge you 10. You
Right.
charge me 3, I charge you 3. You charge me 12, I charge you 12 on the same product.
Right.
Steel. And it wouldn't be flat rate tariffs. So there is a whole part of the government that deals with that,
Yeah.
and that
Export
Doge
and
didn't
import and
fire.
export.
Right, that Doge didn't fire. That these bureaucrats, so you could have called them, and they could have said, "Oh, here you go. Here's all the current tariffing from top to bottom." And if they're truly reciprocal, you just do that. But no, you literally found some creative dumb shit,
Yeah.
and now the average price of goods to every I mean, yeah, it is, they're right, it's going to bring in hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue every year. It's 100% correct, and they are fully still completely unaware that we will be the ones paying that dividend.
I don't
Yeah.
think that they're unaware. I think that they're fully aware. That's kind of the point, is that they want to push the tax burden onto the many instead of asking the ones that use use the economy and government and infrastructure to pay their fair share. You know, that's the whole billionaire versus, everyday American, fight that they're trying to talk poor people into shooting themselves in the foot
No, they're
because
not
it's
trying.
because it's the foreigners' fault that we're we don't have jobs and we're paying so much for everything.
So there is something to that part of it, right? Like, so this is where it couples together with the student loan irony to me, is ultimately the desire is to return all manufacturing back to America. So
Right.
manufacturing that we stopped doing 80 years ago,
Yeah.
they want to bring back because there's an evolution to the game, right? So now we have all these high end degrees that already didn't have a high enough saturation of jobs. Now companies are going to have to make serious decisions. And as things go, 50-60% of the companies will go one way and the other percent will go the other way. And
Yeah.
that's just kind of how it works, right? Because nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. So you're going to have different CEOs making in their best, but they're actually going to put people in a room and talk about it. In their best interest, you are going to have companies trying to bring high quality blue collar jobs back to America. This is what they call, they're like high quality blue, making plushies is a high quality blue collar job, or making microwaves,
Yeah.
or like, how, and then sure, okay, cool. I see what you're trying to do. For the 8 smart people a day I talk to on their side, like, okay, at least you're fully aware of what's really happening.
Yeah.
How fast do you think that's going to happen? Even for the fifth, let's say that the 55, 60% of companies choose to do it. How quickly do you think that's going to happen? And now these factories, you want them to rebuild, you just increase the price of them up to 70% for the building materials to build them. Or you want to, well, we have them, we just reopen them with 1914 technology in them.
Yeah.
And then we go back to there's no inputs. We don't have any inputs either. So we're
Yeah.
going to have to start growing cotton again at massive rates. We're going to have to cut into food production.
Oh no,
Are
they
we?
want to strip mine. They want to strip mine all the forests and everything for it. So, that's
But
the whole
that's
point
true.
of
Strip
that,
my
you know?
American labor, right? Buy American, right? But that's the thing. They're like, well, this wouldn't matter if you could buy American. Okay, cool. If I could buy American, where are my options?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm currently looking for a belt, and I'm looking for like a high quality, high density, capable. I'm looking for a carry belt, right? So I'm going through and this and that, and I am trying to buy an American belt, and I'm trying to buy them. So I found a few guys who they make belts. It's what they do. They're not big
Yep.
companies. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? They make quality products. It seems like they get great reviews, right? And they seem to be good old simple folk.
Yeah.
But their wait times are 3 to 6 weeks minimum
Yeah.
because now we have to buy American, so we don't pay a 42% tariff on our belt.
Right.
And the only companies who do it are literally, husband wife
Yeah. Mom
operations,
and pop shops. Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Or 4 guys. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Working
They
out of a
they can't
garage.
they can't handle a million belts.
Yeah.
They can't handle Nordstrom and Walmart hitting them up for a million belts, so they don't have to pay a tariff. There's no chain for that. There's no
Yeah.
infrastructure for
Well,
that.
and
There's
they
no
and
logistics
they
for that.
they probably don't even have a valid LLC or anything in place to properly pay their taxes on these things, So the the implication is, and that's the other thing is that, even if they were to try to upscale into an actual corp that, was able to make these things en masse, they're going to have, like you said, building, you're going to have to put in the infrastructure. They're going to have the business um, side of it down. And, what's harder than ever now with the Social Security changes and stuff that they're making, filing for business identities and tax numbers has become harder. and and then accurately knowing whether or not these companies are paying their taxes appropriately is kind of, I think, the goal, but these smaller shops aren't going to be able to take advantage of that, if they do, it's going to be on accident. So
I don't really have high hopes for the manufacturing jobs returning to America. Um, we could reference week one when we pulled out numbers from his first term, and I understand he wasn't this aggressive with the tariffs the first time, so they're hoping for a different outcome with that return. But what was it, like 3.6 or 3.7% of what they were aiming to come back came back. So like that's not enough to justify it to do it again, other than his ego.
That does make a lot of sense, right? But then let's say it does, right? So I don't know. Let's pick something, right? Like I don't know, plushy pillows, right? Some weird thing, that trinket that's made in, China or Taiwan now. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you paid $20 for a pillow at Target,
yeah,
yesterday, right? Now with the tariffs, you're going to be paying $32 for the same pillow.
Right.
But let's say that we do it, right? Like I don't 100% know what actually goes in pillows. I'm not a pillow expert. I know ooh feel good on head, or ooh good for body, or ooh shouldn't use it all. That's about all I know about pillows. Um,
it's a polymer filling. It's
Right.
basically just
But
spun
whatever
out.
it is, right? So let's say we manufacture everything here and it's all local and we pay no tariff on it whatsoever. But now we're paying because we want quality, right? And we've constricted the workforce by a bunch of deportations. Like this is a plan. Like
Oh
people
yeah, for
need to
sure.
understand that this is not as willy-nilly as people think it is. It's not willy-nilly at all.
Yeah.
This is a plan. It's got some very clear-cut goals and then some extremely nefarious goals at the
Right.
same time,
Yep. Yep.
interlaced together,
Yep.
to appease a lot of different levels of stupidity or insanity. So we do that now. We condense, so the workforce is making 22, let's say modern wage, 22 high quality blue collar job, 22 an hour to make pillows. Well, so now you're going to pay $33 a pillow instead of 32 from the tariff pillow,
Yeah.
or 20 today,
Yeah.
because the labor cost difference is so amass. Like, do I think that people in China should work for free or 2 cents a day? No, I don't. Do I think that that's China's problem? Yes, I do. I think, and if our companies want to go exploit that, that's a them problem. If you don't want to purchase a product from somebody who exploits that, I respect it. But if you want a $20 pillow, that's what it's going to take.
Right.
And so
Well, like,
American labor doing it, it's still not going to be a cheap pillow. So, and then there's that theorem, right? Well, okay, but it'll help increase the economy. So, okay, how is it going to help it'll help increase that pillow sales, right? Like it will, because the middle class will have more money, but then they'll just slowly jack up prices on everything.
Yep.
They're going to make as much money as they humanly possibly can. Like,
right.
for their end goal, it's there's an irony to it to me, and their current ideology. Your end goal, to actually accomplish what you would want to accomplish, what you are presenting that you want to accomplish, would be actual authoritative socialism. Would be actually communism. Like that's the only thing that would
No, it wouldn't
actually
be.
accomplish.
It wouldn't be communism. It'd be authoritative.
Well, no,
Um.
it'd never get there, but that's the direction you got to go.
Yeah. Well,
No one's ever got there.
no, and never will. Yeah, but the socialism aspect of it is the stage before communism, that we can't get to, because at that point you centralize ownership of the economy to the country, so that then it can then be dispersed back out to the people. So you just stop that short of true socialism, and you put an authoritarian in there, and that's what you'll end up with. The
Yeah,
problem is,
because you have to eliminate the free market to accomplish
right.
what they want. To
Well,
accomplish what they want,
there's no free
you
market, but yeah,
okay. That's well, we don't have to get into how
I know, right, right.
three and
Yeah,
a half companies make everything. We don't have to
right,
get into that. But no, there isn't. But there is at least the appearance or concept of
right.
like like a mom and pop yogurt store or ice cream shop could still work if they bring a quality product at a lower price.
If they could, yeah,
Yeah, well, they can. I mean, I see them. They exist, right? No, they don't exist in large scale. You're not going to have an internet company, or you're not going to be generational wealth building. You could
right.
create a family. You could still create a family business in this country that provides a service at a certain level, or at a certain quality, or at a certain price,
As
where
long as
your
you're willing to work
family,
60 hours a week.
right,
Yeah,
where your family could work
yeah,
there for, and then their children and your grandchildren, and
right,
everybody could work there. But it's never going to be to where your family doesn't have to work
Yeah,
anymore.
it's just
right.
your honest living.
Yeah.
Right. You make an
Yep.
honest living doing it fair, but you're never going to be able to scale it because the
Right.
Well,
behemoths are
and
going to destroy
it's
you.
hard to even do that, because you can't compete with these larger, businesses. Like, for instance, we have a really nice ice cream shop called Sweet Sanity,
Oh
and
yeah.
they are fantastic. They are wonderful, family owned. They do the work, and they hire, kids during the summer. But, just down Lima is Handel's, and that's a corporate shop that makes some crazy cool ice cream, and it's really good.
So glad you guys got one of those.
Right, I know, right? But
Got two
like,
of them.
I 100% go to Sweet Sanity anytime I can, but they can't be open 20 or all year round
Shout
because
out to Sweet
of,
Sanity.
huh?
Shout out to Sweet Sanity.
Oh yeah, you guys rock. So like they're able to maintain, but having a corporate ice cream shop, just the other way a little ways is hurting their business already.
No,
So
100%, right? Like, and that's what it is. Like they're the ones who understand it on the right, not at the administrative level, on the fan level. The I mean, I think Shane's reference last week was really solid. Like, it's like everybody supports their football team now, and like they can't do no wrong. Um, them, even the smart ones who do kind of see the writing on the wall, I don't think they understand economics and how it
right.
works and why we've like so our country's evolved faster than anybody ever in history.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
in
Well,
almost every metric humanly possible. We have done things that has not been seen in the absolute factual history of the species. Now, if we
yeah,
go into the probable realities of these great other civilizations, but that's for a different type of podcast.
yeah, yeah.
So that's but the for what known history, no country has done
Well,
this
and
fast
and
or this well. But
well,
we
and I think
don't.
I think a lot of that is because we've had good location in regard to other long-standing, more mature civilizations. We have you know, the east to the west. So, we have the Asia to the west, and then we have Europe to the east. So we had really good access to both, where the ability for them to trade back and forth, required going down to the Horn. So so
Oh,
they didn't have
circumnavigation.
so and then something I learned from uh, I think it was from Atomic Habits, um, is that if we look at the success of civilization, the ability to farm east to west is is better than farming north to south because of the types of foods that you can do east to west is consistent. So we were able to spread farming east to west and really, have a good foothold on nutrition early on, even better than Europe. And that's why Europe succeeded more than Africa or, and then Asia, China is like
Yeah, if
this.
you can, yeah, no,
So,
it's weird. You can eat good, and it increases brain power and all of
yep.
these other fun science things. Although they won't believe this either.
Yeah, yeah. It
Um,
leads to technology advances and
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
but that's what. So we need to continue on that road, right? Like,
Right.
yes, America, people like America doesn't manufacture things. Yes, we do. We manufacture high end things. We've talked about this before, right? We definitely
Intellectual
manufacture,
property.
right? But we manufacture weapons.
Yeah.
We manufacture, you know, chips, AI. Like
Yeah.
and there's a lot of other things, right? Steel is something we still, which they're like, we'll
Very good
bring back
skill. Yeah.
American steel, but you don't. We 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 manufacture a very specific type of steel now
Yeah.
that is the best, and we let the lower grade steel go to other countries for manufacturing because we don't need. We need a more educated populace that create more educated populist opportunities. We need to
That's
saturate that. And we were on the way to doing that.
yeah.
And now we're going to hit the brakes and go back the other way. And yes, there was some pain. And I know that people give Biden a really hard time. Like, yeah, I'm sorry you lost your high quality blue collar job, but we'll pay you to learn how to code, which will give you an
Right.
even higher quality non blue collar job where you sit in front of your little computer for 4 hours a day and do your little blah, 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 and now the computer does what you want it to do.
And you make
And
$100,000 a year.
right, and and to make your $100,000 on the oil field, you were working 83 hours a week, and
Yeah.
you're
And
not going to
dying
be able
early.
to. And that's what I'm saying. You're not going to be able to walk when you're 55
Yeah.
years old, and you're not going to be able to close your hands after you're 40, and you're not. So yeah, maybe people like that. I don't know, maybe delivery is everything, but I'm actually offering you a better opportunity at a better life and making more money with easier work because we've evolved our economy to a point where we can do that. And we don't need you to go in the coal mine and die anymore.
Right.
We don't need you to do that
We
anymore.
just
Like,
need you to use your brain. Oh, that's too hard. So yeah,
but
let's go
it's
ahead and go die in the mines.
right.
Like,
Or, I mean, there's other options, right? Like, you ain't got to die in the mines. You go start a landscaping company and you want to do hard backbreaking work, but you be a millionaire.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to go build decks, you can be a millionaire. You want to do, bathroom improvements, you can be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of trade jobs
Yeah.
where you can be a millionaire.
Well,
You
that's
know what I'm
that's that's
saying?
the right's whole thing. That's their whole shtick is they want to demonize intelligence because they don't want these intelligent workers out there, voting in line with their education. They want people that are stuck doing hard work that don't make a lot of trouble because they're too tired from working so much and that vote based off of whoever has the strongest rah rah. And so that's their whole thing. They're trying to do that with all of this complicated circle around work. They're demonizing education. They're trying to bring back manufacturing jobs so that they can give them back to people so that they can take these mindless jobs and not use their brains. That way they
And
stay in power.
right. And force their bloodline to do the same because
Exactly right.
not a
Right.
ton of us break away, right?
Right. Right.
We do something similar to what mom or dad did,
Yep. Yep.
right? So that's, I mean, in my case, that's also true, right? Like,
Yep.
I got education, I did all this. My mom worked in the food industry and I work in the food industry. Like,
Right.
I've
Yeah.
just taken it to a different direction, a different
Yep.
level, right? But um I did that because I'm intelligent, educated, right? Like,
Right.
I was allowed to advance in it. But that's the one thing I think everybody's child should work in the industry. And I think that from 17 to 23 would be a really good swath, and then they should never go near it again the rest of their lives because
Right.
it's hell on earth.
Yeah.
You
I
know what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, that's, what I'm saying? Like,
I
but
still miss it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because we're a little bit, but those 5 years, that'll teach you a lot about humanity and how to deal with people. But yeah, and that's what it is, right? It's this never ending, like, so now we're gonna fuck everybody over. And then the worst part is, well, maybe not the worst part. I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that's like, you're so stupid you don't even realize, and I feel bad for you.
Right.
And then there's a part of me that's like, fuck you, stupid. Because you did
Yeah.
this to yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm financially okay enough
Right. Right.
that, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but I'm still gonna be able to go to Disney.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
You
you're not
know
going
what
to
I'm
be
saying?
financially
Like,
Yeah.
ruined by
right,
this.
I'm not gonna be ruined by
Yeah.
this. Like, yeah,
So
it's gonna suck, and maybe I don't buy 3 packs of $20 beef jerky a week anymore. But
well this
you
this this is where it's gonna really suck for people is I think his last name was Goodman had said something about these tariffs will essentially cancel out for the next 5 years any annual raise you get
Oh yeah.
while the goods are going to
Yeah,
increase
but that's
or while the
that's
price of
that's
goods
just
increase.
that's just the minimum. Not to mention the fact that they're talking about this is just going to create another inflation run.
Oh
So
yeah.
right. I'm just really glad my mom's a bit older and uh, found some documentation about her holdings for retirement reasons. She's varying like 401k, but like my grandmother worked for GE for a long time
oh,
and
nice.
had a lot of stock option
Yep,
when
yep.
she passed. And my mom sold it at a really good point and diversified pretty well. And I found that and I was like, hey, you got a guy who does this for you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you need to move all of this out.
Yep.
She's like, well, that's their safest option. I go, I understand that. It is. It is. And it was a very safe option in normal times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about to experience non normal times. You don't see it coming, mama, but I do. And you're too old
Yep.
to bounce back on the back end from this. You know what I'm saying? Where what I'm doing, like, yes, the overall value of the retirement's looking, but I'm increasing
Right.
contribution because as
Well,
it's
and
getting cheaper, I want to buy more of it so that it goes the other way. But
Yep.
that's so I told her, like, you have to do that. So how many retiree area, so 60 plus, let's say, and maybe even 50, 58 plus, 57 plus, you might not have enough time where if you have $2 million in your 401k because you've worked like a dog your whole life
yeah,
and put your contribution in there, that's going to be worth $700,000 soon. And if it
Right.
doesn't recover fast enough, you can do enough damage
Yes.
in those 4 years that it takes a full 8 year Democratic presidency to even begin to repair it, very Obama like,
yeah,
Right.
right? Because you're not going to get another Obama that's that intelligent, that
yeah,
knows to listen to those people and does exactly the right thing to send it
right,
on a
right.
hot streak. You're going to be 72 and it's going to be worth 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Where if you wouldn't have elected this man, you'd be 72 and be worth 4.5 million. And now you get to spend 2 weeks in Italy like you always dreamed of.
Right.
One of
You know,
the things that I read from the National Association of Realtors today was that the boomers are actually the number one generation buying homes right now. Um, I know,
really?
right? Yeah. So they're because they invested well and they're seeing, you know, a nice return on the properties that they currently have, they're able to sell and then buy cash oftentimes, so they're not dealing with the high interest rate that the millennials are dealing with. So um so they're the ones that are out there buying and selling right now. And I read that and I was like, man, like they're hoping to move into this house that they're going to pay top dollar for right now. And then we're going to hit this brick wall and they're going to be upside down or they're going to lose money on the property. And then, whether or not they live long enough to see a shift back, then their kids are going to end up feeling that burden when they go to sell that house and put mom and pops in a home.
Yeah.
So it's the next couple of years is going to be really hairy for those that are way overconfident in the way things are supposed to go right now.
I'm in that process, right? Like thinking about the home, and I can get a good home right now and an up and blooming neighborhood for a good price, and I'm just absolutely terrified of
Wait.
what
Wait.
Yeah,
that value. I've been waiting. I screwed up. I should have bought it in 2021. I wanted to when the market completely collapsed. I bought
Yeah.
oil. I wasn't a complete. I bought a bunch of oil at
yeah.
157 a barrel. And I made
Right.
a pretty fucking penny off of that. Like, hey, a lot of people do a lot of things with stimulus checks. I put myself in a whole nother financial category.
Yeah.
That's what I did with my stimulus. I learned how to day trade. And you made myself quite a lot of money in doing it because I was like, well, I'm gonna buy this. Hey, the airlines people will fly again. Let me get that. So I do. I know wait, right? Because I do think it's maybe going to completely collapse. So there's a possibility, maybe not. I wouldn't want that.
Right. No, yeah, and
I
let's
don't I
preface
don't want
that.
economic
Like,
right. I don't want economic ruin, but it's
yeah,
coming.
none of us want that. This
No,
isn't
but
like,
I'm saying wait because like Josh, I'm also in that industry and we are starting to see rates slowly come back. And the 30-year average is around 5.5%. So even if you're like at I think it's like 6.725 this week on a 30-year, 6.5 on a 20-year conventional. You wait another year or so, you're going to be back to that norm.
yeah, and I don't think that we're gonna see appreciation rates like we've seen the past couple of years either. So I
No,
think
they're
prices
already
are
starting
gonna,
to level out.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
I
say
think
what
prices are gonna stay.
I'm actually seeing a lot in there. I'm actually seeing a lot of depreciation.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
a 10%
oh,
back and
well, okay.
forth.
I guess maybe that's not it. So now, all right. I don't know what the values of current homes are doing. I know what the asking price of homes on the market are
Okay,
doing.
I'll tell you this. I just got a loan earlier this week. The guy's refinancing his house to do home improvements. He bought it in 1996 for $154,000,
Ooh,
and it's
$4
worth
house
like
now.
$574,000. It just appraised at.
Yep.
So
Okay.
he's borrowing money off the
Like a home equity.
Yeah.
yeah
Basically,
off the value,
Yeah.
right?
So he's
Which
borrowing
is
against his home still. Yeah.
which is why the people of Elon Musk world don't understand how bad he's getting hurt that we're demolishing that stock.
Right.
So that they don't understand that 50% of a lot of money, most of his worth came from Tesla.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I don't think they understand that he's lost half, if not more.
Well, not only that, he might lose Twitter because of it.
No, you didn't. You
No, he
didn't see what he
just
did.
sold to his
Yeah,
own
you didn't
AI
see what he
company for
did, bro.
Oh,
$33
did
billion.
Berkshire sell it? I thought that
No.
was a dream.
No, he
sold it to his
sold
own AI company
to his AI
Oh,
company.
for
well,
$33 billion.
that's
Well,
that's
no,
the same thing that Meta did.
yeah, but then he could pay off the loans
Yeah.
because they were going to call the loan
Yeah.
because the value of the stock had diminished so
Yeah.
much that you no longer have the collateral you were supposed to
Right.
have for this loan. So
Right.
they were going to call in the loan, so he sold it to himself. Like, yeah, it's legal, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, they're
Unethical
private
as fuck.
companies, so they don't have
Well, yeah,
to
no, it's
disclose
unethical,
their
but
financials
it's
at all.
legal. Yeah, it's unethical, but it's legal.
Oh, for sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's all there is to it. So, but it is legal. But he sold it in all stock. So
Yes.
Yeah.
so he sold all of his stock to the AI company. So now the AI company technically owns Twitter.
Right.
So but it's but for the people, like I said, I don't support firebombing car dealerships or scratching swastikas and spray painting people's cars. I think that's little bitch shit.
Yeah.
Like you don't like a fascist, punch a fucking fascist in the mouth and get it in.
Well,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
Not to
Like,
mention we talk about how low and stupid they act, but then people like that want to stoop to their level.
right.
Like,
but it worked.
I mean, yes.
I don't agree with it. I don't.
Right.
But there are people out there that feel that is the only recourse of resistance that they have.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it, but I do remember for a fact that this country was founded because of a tariff.
Yeah. And a Tea Party.
Well, that's why did we have a Tea Party? Because we were mad about the fucking tariff.
Yep.
And we didn't want to pay extra money for our tea.
Yeah.
Now this dude's going to have us pay extra money for everything.
Yeah, and it was a 3% tariff, not a 30% tariff.
Or 62 or 47 or penguin. So, but there's been this other side, right? So I've not left or far left, not the militant left, like I like to call them. I don't know. I've heard somebody call them like, I don't know, things I shouldn't say on the podcast. And I don't necessarily agree or disagree that you're wacko, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just letting you know you're fucking wacko. But the regular left is mad that the Democratic Party just feels like outside of the legal arm, they're sitting here and taking it up the ass, bro. Now they did just stop a couple of things, made Speaker Johnson take his fucking and go elsewhere, right? But
and Booker, stood up and kicked some ass. So
and that's why Booker did it, right? So Booker filibustered. It wasn't an actual filibuster because he wasn't actually attempting to block legislation, but he did take the floor and go 25 hours and 5 minutes about how Trump's administration is the absolute fucking clown show of history and railing against it at great lengths, beating the old record, which was Strom Thurmond's 1957 filibuster. He beat that by 47 minutes. If I remember correctly, the Thurmond filibuster was 4 not are against civil rights. I think that's what
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I
filibuster
was against.
was,
Yeah.
against civil rights.
Yeah.
So in ideological ways, I think that's really cool that the last really long one was against civil rights.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the black guy got up and
Yeah.
shit all over it. But he did what we're not, when we say fight, we don't mean firebomb Tesla.
Right. Right.
We mean do that.
Yeah.
Do that, right? Vote some shit down. Get some allies from the other side because there's got to be. I
There is.
understand that
Actually,
there.
I was gonna mention this. So today, there's a bipartisan bill that was just introduced that I think has 3 Republican signers on it, and it's limiting the president's power when it comes to tariffs. So,
That's already in
It,
Congress's hands
yeah.
because it's the power of the purse.
right, well, yeah, but this is defining it so even more so that he can't even do what he's doing.
Yeah, but can we get that through the Senate and then he ain't going to sign it and then we're not going to be able to override the veto? But
Yeah.
I'm here for the show. I'm
I
here for
mean,
the show.
but anything where we're getting bipartisan support, that means even if Trump is the worst president that we will ever see, and he will be, this is
Twice.
actually something positive that's coming out of it, unintended consequence.
Yeah, I will say ultimately twice and agree with you in certain ways, but I'll think the first time they had a much better bridle on him
Oh yeah.
than they do
Yes.
this time. He
Oh yeah,
is
this time he's going for broke
right.
because here's the thing. If he gets out of office, he's still within the statute of limitations.
Yep.
They
And
can
I think
still
that's
come
what he's
after
worried
him.
about. I think that's why he's looking for that loophole
That's
for that
exactly
third
why he's
term.
trying for that third term.
He's
Look,
scared shitless for his freedom.
So what I will say is so far, like the MAGA heads, it's like they get downloads and then
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
voice
you
fonts
see it all come
change,
out. Yeah.
right? Yeah, they get downloads and like
Yeah.
it waved like reciprocal tariff,
Yeah.
reciprocal tariff,
Reciprocal,
right?
reciprocal,
Right, but they're
reciprocal.
reciprocal, but they're reciprocal. But why is it okay that Madagascar puts a tariff on our goods coming in, but not okay that we put, what do you mean, a banana leaf? That
No,
we
both are chameleons like I breed.
Oh yeah, but right, right, like why? Because well, they're poor as fuck,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're not, and
Right.
we have the ability to like, yeah, Madagascar has to do that because they need to create their own economy because they don't have one outside of very
Well,
small things.
it's not only that, it's also that they have such a diverse ecosystem that they need that extra tax money to go towards ecology
Right.
so that they
Well,
don't
yeah,
have
that's the
to
specific
strip
example,
mine.
right?
Yeah,
But they have ultimately at the end of the day, the reason that it's okay, because that's the question. Why is
right,
it okay? It's
right,
okay because those economies need the help and we don't.
right.
That's why it's okay because we have other options that you don't want to take, as we've already discussed, that will provide you a better life, a more quality of a life. But fuck it. You want to be a ditch digger? Go be a ditch digger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not skilled trade work. I don't think people who work in skilled trades fit that category. I think the skilled trade work is admirable as fuck. You can
Yeah.
build shit, connect shit, make electric shit, plumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that stuff's really cool. And I think it's very admirable, extremely hard work, right? Landscape shit, cool. But you want to go, you're rivet
Yeah.
all day long? You're a fucking ditch digger. Move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be better for you to actually go dig ditches. But you work in construction where you build shit. There's nothing that's a trade. There's nothing wrong with the trades, but you want all these manufacturing jobs, the mindless zombie robot jobs,
Yeah.
where it's just you. So I just fuck, dude. It's an insanity. It's a level of insanity, and it's an insanity created by the lack of education. And now we're continuing to destroy education. Now we've pretty much dismantled the Department of Education, and
Yeah.
I in certain. It's odd though. It's odd the realities of that. So we're gonna give it back to the states. Okay, cool. I can see that argument. I can. Department of Education isn't super old. I can see that argument.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
states
but
who are going to be able
those
to
states
afford
got
it
to
the
spend that
best,
money.
well, the states that can't afford it best are blue,
Right.
and they're going to afford it best.
Yeah.
So moving into the other part of what you said, the third term, that's not being accepted by even most of MAGA that I follow regularly. Like even them are like, nope, bridge too far, especially the veterans.
Yeah.
They're like, nope, that's a bridge too far. We're not
Well, and
doing that. Um,
the 80,000 jobs that they're cutting from the VA is another one. Like, oh, and the DOD that they're cutting. They feel very attacked, especially because of on top of all of that, then the collective bargaining piece that they're trying to get rid of, so that federal workers can't advocate for their own jobs. I was arguing with that architect that I told you guys about. He was like, why should a federal employee make more than the same type of job in the civilian world? I'm like, so you're mad because they're unionized so that they are getting paid a livable wage so that they're loyal to their country, and that makes you upset. So like that's the other thing, is that they're eroding the confidence that people have in the government when there was almost no confidence left in the government.
right. And then we can't go, we can't finish this one up without this week's very important for us. So we had some special elections on
Yes.
Tuesday.
Yes. Way to go,
And
Wisconsin.
well, the tide, even not just that, the tide is very clear.
Mhm.
So I think some of the Republican analysts are right. Low propensity voters showing their ugly faces because they're not going to go out because he isn't on the ballot, right? But even the two Florida specials where we lost both, we were supposed to lose both. We were never supposed to win either. But we have one where Trump won around 30 points and this guy only won by 8.
Yeah.
That's a 22-point swing in our favor. And the other one, very similar, like 15, 17-point swing in our favor. Like we were supposed to lose those, right? Then we have Elon Musk dumping almost $200 million through his pact and various other ways. Like they're going to argue that number. But if you bring all the shit we know, because it's public fucking knowledge
Right.
that he's involved in and how much he's donated to it. And this is directly his money, even though it's coming from this pact, about $200 million into that race and got fucking trounced.
Demolished.
So it was, I mean, I don't know what final count was when they called it. We had a 25-point lead in a battleground state
Yeah.
in a one of the most nonpartisan states in the union.
Yeah.
For the dumb ones, the union is all of our 50 states together. That's what we call that. But to get trounced by that. And then she came right out in her victory speech, and they're very nonpartisan and said, I never thought I'd be running against the richest guy in the world, but guess he wasn't good enough either. So another shot to him, right? And then all of a sudden, right? That's all Twitter was from last Tuesday to this Tuesday. It was gotta vote Brad, I gotta vote Brad, I gotta vote Brad, I gotta vote Brad. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna put on a show, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna give away millions of dollars to get people to vote, I'm gonna do this, which isn't what they said it was. The fuck it was. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, to Wednesday going, yeah, but they voter ID'd. They voted in, but wait, we're not talking about Brad anymore. We haven't been talking about voter ID at all. We were talking about Brad. What happened? Why aren't we talking about Brad anymore? And it's like I'm saying, like they got a download, right? Now we don't talk about Brad. Now we talk about the fact. And look, they voted for that. This is a huge win. We'll never lose another election in Wisconsin. Bitch, they already had voter ID requirements since 2011.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motherfucker, it's already a law there. They didn't vote anything new in. What they have devoted is to put it in their constitution to make it official. Cool. And they're all like, yeah, but now it's in their constitution. Yeah, the constitution that also can be changed later by another vote. But we won't get into that anyway. But it's cool. So what you asked people when they went into their little booth to vote is like, hey, today you had to show an ID to vote. Do you think that we should always require that? Oh, you want me to do the same thing I did today? Yes. And that's why it was
Right.
overwhelmingly
Yeah.
popular, right? Because I don't see a flaw in the system that I just utilized to cast my vote.
Exactly
So,
right.
Yeah.
so I don't have a problem in the world with the fact that I voted yes for that. So you didn't win shit. They did
Yeah.
what they've always been doing, and where they knew it was you versus them, they said, "Fuck you. You
Yep.
can't be a cheesehead, bitch."
Yep.
Like, you can't come put your little cheese head on and give your little autism speech and fucking buy us out, bro. They're not for sale. They're Midwesterners, dickhead. It's not
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Well,
Okay.
they are
It's
for
not.
Right.
sale, but if they can't see it in their pocket when they walk out, then they don't care.
Shit, Jackson, these are Midwest. These are good old folks who
Yeah.
drink a shitload. But I think that's huge, right? You look at the special elections. You look at all the special elections that have happened. These got some notoriety because Wisconsin was so important. Everything else kind of got a light shined on it. Um, they're not doing well.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
all the major political
And the
operatives
specials
that
are
I've always
usually
yeah. Even that's where the right talkers that have pretty much become MAGA grifters, and that's what they are. They're grifting. They get
Yep.
clicks and likes, right? But they were intelligent before. I didn't agree with you ideologically, but you're intelligent. They've smashed the alarm.
Yeah.
Like, this may end up so bad that in 26 we will win enough that we can overturn the veto.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
and that we
we
can
actually, right.
and
We
that we
will
can actually impeach to remove. So,
remove. I'll
right.
take JD.
Yeah.
I don't think at that point he would
He
do
he
anything
would be
insane.
ineffectual. Yeah.
I think ultimately JD's a politician who found a line, right?
Yeah.
And now you got that's what Marjorie Taylor. These are politicians. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene's a
He's a
fucking
grifter
moron.
anyways. Like he's not doing the work. Like he doesn't
No.
know how to do any of this shit.
Oh, and my famous last of the minute Pete check in. You know he can throw a football, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can throw a football, dude. He also took attack plans, but he can throw a football. And that's why that was a talking point, right? The download. This is why he's our tech deaf. This is why. And it's like every influencer section, and then every Joe Schmo and almost said it. On Twitter is retweeting it. And I'm like, the 6-year-old kid next door can throw a fucking football too.
Right.
Yeah.
So he should be sec def. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
he's qualified, because he can throw a football. But no, I think the specials are really leaning in our favor. And I think for me, it's optimism. I think we're never going to get MAGA back. All right.
Yeah.
So any election we win, we stole it.
Right.
Any election they win, God divined it.
Yeah.
And God is Trump. Don't get confused. They don't think God is the Christian God. They think
don't
he's
believe in
God.
Christ, that's for sure.
Right. So right, they're gone. Okay. So the best case scenario is they can go back to not fucking voting like they used to.
Right.
And let me go back to the
Yeah.
ideological differences.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that. I want governing, right? But we've
The
talked about this.
racism back in the closet where it belongs.
Right. But let's a wave so unbelievably strong that we can have impeachment and veto power or override power.
Yeah.
That would be, I might actually like throw it back and streak through the street, bro. Like, it might have to happen.
You won't.
I might.
You heard it here.
Yeah, I might, bro. That'll give me hope in humanity that in our countrymen that I've almost fucking lost.
Yeah.
That like you don't want to know. Like, that's where we've reached. It went from you don't know to you don't want to know, because I've noticed some of you decided to know and now you do know. Yeah. And the special elections are showing us that. And they're not staying home. They're voting the other way.
Right.
Yeah,
they say that these are all paid people in the town halls. They're not.
Yeah.
Maybe some, or maybe some agitators intentionally going, right?
Some
just like
agitators, but man, a lot of these guys are older. They're veterans.
And you can tell these are lifelong Republican voters.
Oh yeah.
And they're pissed the fuck off.
Yeah. And the special elections are usually a good initial indicator anyway as to how the midterms turn out.
Excellent. So, well, we're going to wrap up there. It was actually a better COVID episode than I expected. Y'all made it. You can die peacefully now. Enjoy yourselves. Yeah. It's been fun. If it's just me next week, guys, it's going to be a party, and I'm dropping the R word more often because I ain't got to care about their future.
Which R word?
Yeah, all of them. So, but no, we're going to have a good time. A lot of good stuff. I'm sure he's going to give us plenty to talk about. Until next week, we are Bluebird on your shoulder. Please like and subscribe. Tell a friend, share it with a friend. Find us the combatant to don their armor and come speak to us from the MAGA point of view. I'd like to help try to break you out of your cult. I would. And you can come try to break me out of mine. It's fine. Evens are evens. Until next week, y'all, Bluebird, like and subscribe. Bye-bye.
Take
Have a
care.
great spring break.